What's happening, everybody? It is Wednesday, and we are live here for the final part of the Free Your Mind series. And I'm realizing that my mic is like right in view here. This is kind of annoying. Okay, there we go. So, yes, this is the final night. This is the wrap up of this 4-part series. And I just want to say thank you for those of you that have been here on the journey, learning, going through these tips and allowing me to speak into your mind and, help you be closer to a positive, free mind and just being better overall, right? Like my goal is to help people be better every day. And that's what I want to do. That's what my purpose is. Doesn't matter in what capacity. That's just my goal. And so that's what this has been all about. It's been all about you. It's been all about helping you be better and helping you free your mind of those limiting and destructive beliefs. And maybe all of them are great. Maybe you're rocking them all and that's awesome. But I bet there's probably one in there. And maybe tonight is the one that does it. But there's probably one in there that really sticks in your mind, right? So today we're going to go through that and stick around to the end because at the end, I'm actually going to be doing a little bit something special. So I've put together a worksheet of everything that I've done. And I'm going to tell you how to get that later, right? I'm going to tell you how to exactly get that information and we can send that over to you. Make sure that you get that because I think it's good to be able to have some sort of document that you can actually reference over and over through years to come to just, when you're having a bad day, just be able to look at that and go, where am I having a struggle, right? Like, what am I struggling with at this point in time? And what can I improve on? And maybe it's a little bit of self-reflection. Maybe you don't even know what it is, but it just gives you an idea to look through things and say, am I allowing certain things to speak into my mind? Am I getting cluttered? Am I, sitting with fear? Am I being doubtful? Whatever the case may be, that's what we're going to give away today. So like I said, stick around, and we'll tell you how to get that. If you're on right now with me live, throw me down a hashtag live. Otherwise, throw down a hashtag replay if you're catching this on the replay. I want to be able to give shout outs while we go through. So, I love being able to interact with you guys and be able to, be social while we're doing these types of videos and stuff too, because I think that's important, right? We're all creating connections. We're all building relationships. And that's what really stands out. So I'm going to go ahead and dive right in here and, just remember that none of these are any way to be like stabby or anything like that or bitey or whatever. This is just to help you really think about things that could potentially be holding you back from your true potential. And so we got another 4 tips today. Number 1 is get free from fear, right? And the biggest thing with fear is that it's everywhere. And especially right now, and especially in this world, fear is just running rampant among everybody. And it can hold people back. It can hold people back from promotions. It can hold people back from, the next level in their business. It can hold people back from being good parents or good siblings or, even good kids, right? So you want to get yourself free from fear. And the thing is when you're thinking about fear, just don't second guess yourself, right? If you're going to think about doing something, you want to be able to have the ability to just push through and do it. But what fear does is fear makes us second guess ourselves and we go, well, is that really what I want to do? Is that really something that I want to get involved in? Or maybe it's a decision, right? Maybe you're deciding, do you want to buy that house or not? And there could be fears in there that's holding you back. And there could be fears that's, basically making you second guess yourself. And you're saying, well, is that really the right house? Is that really the right car? Is that really the right bill to pay off? And when you get those second guessing things in your mind, that's not always just because you're being, mindful of the decision. Sometimes that's just, there's some limiting fear there that's holding you back and saying, maybe that's not a good idea. So what you got to do is you got to figure out, why do you have that fear, right? Why do you have that thought in your mind and how can you push past that? And to go along with that is, don't let fear hold back your life. Don't let fear be the reason why you didn't go on that trip, why you didn't shake that person's hand, why you didn't answer that question before somebody else, or maybe along with somebody else. It's not always about being first or last or anything like that, but fear can hold you back in ways that most people don't even realize. I deal with it all the time. And the best thing that I've done personally is being able to sit back and say, okay, why am I being held back? Is my mind kind of doing one of these things and saying, whoa, hold up a minute. Like, let's think about this. And you got to reflect and you got to be able to understand, why is that happening and what is it that you need to overcome to push forward. That may not be an immediate decision. Okay. This may require conversations with people. This may require going to a mentor or a friend or a family member and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this thing. What can you do to help me out? Right. So get free from fear. Number 2, get free from false belief or unbelief. And I'm going to be completely honest here. Some of you may believe in this, some of you may not, and I'm not here to really push any belief on anybody. This is my own personal belief, but if this isn't what you believe, that's okay. I'm going to try to give some examples that aren't, in a way that, whatever. But one of the things is like, God thought and created you, like thought of you, created you, and put you on this earth for a purpose, right? And people don't realize that when they're sitting here thinking about like, oh, well, I was put here for a purpose, but I don't believe that that's my purpose. That's okay. But you got to think about your gut feeling, right? Like if you're doing something and your gut tells you this is right, this is the right play, this is the right thing to do, and you're second guessing yourself, what you're doing is you're practicing false belief. You're practicing unbelief. You're saying, you know what? I don't believe that that's actually true. Now, maybe you don't believe in God and that's okay. But maybe there's other things, maybe you were given a choice and you don't believe in yourself enough. That's still unbelief. That's still false belief. And that could be from external sources or internal sources, right? And another cool thing, I heard this a while back, and I think this is really true. And whether you believe in this or not, that's okay. But God never makes bad people, right? Like nobody was put on this earth bad. Nobody was born out of the womb bad. Nobody was, born into a situation where you were just inherently a bad person. Everybody's born the same way. You come out head first, or like my wife, butt first. But whatever the case may be, you never were born and someone went, oh, that's a bad baby. The thing is that when we're all born, we're born innocent. And it's our choices that in our decisions that actually can turn us bad. Now, yes, I do believe there's a little bit of that nature versus nurture type thing where by nature we're not bad, but by nurture we can be turned bad, whether it's, family influence, whether it's, the neighborhood we're in, whatever the case may be. Those things can be part of that, but nobody ever was made bad. Nobody ever was born bad. People are born good. God made good people that make bad decisions. And that's just it. And people who make bad decisions aren't necessarily bad people, and they can turn themselves around and make good decisions by themselves. A good example is a friend of ours. He has dealt with drugs and abuse and things like that. He's dealt with mental issues. Well, I guess it's not mental issues, but like, mental struggles and things like that. And he made some poor decisions in life. But the good thing about that is that through getting around positive people and making a decision to be better, he no longer is dealing with those situations, right? And so he believed in himself. He didn't have these false, he had these false beliefs before that said that he had to do those drugs to feel better. He had to be that person to be better. But then he realized that he doesn't have to be that person, right? He doesn't have to be that way. You can make a decision to go on to the next level. You can make a decision to be good again. And not saying that he was bad when he was doing that stuff. He just made bad decisions. And you just got to turn yourself around and make good decisions, right? And so another point in that too is if you want to play a part in people making better decisions, is just give people hope. That's all we did with our friend is we said, hey, we've got this great opportunity that has helped a lot of people. We'd love to get you in here. The mentorship is great. The team is great. It's a lot of positive, influence in here. And we just gave him hope. We gave him a reason to actually want to be better. Now, I'm not taking all the credit for anything because we didn't just single-handedly do anything, but we chose to give someone hope, and they started to make good decisions. And I like to think that, we did have a part in that. And that's all we want to do is we just want to give people hope. And that's what you should focus on too. Don't tell people to make better decisions. I know sometimes it seems like on these lives, we're telling you what to do. That's not the case. The big thing is that we just want to give you hope that there's better things out there. And so getting free from false beliefs or unbeliefs, that's just something of, if something is true, don't believe what everything else says out there. Believe in yourself and believe in what your mind is telling you, and you're going to be so much better off. That's for sure. So, and I'm sorry if my voice is kind of scratchy. I'm getting over a cold and some coughing and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Otherwise, the next one, get free from control, right? So this one is really interesting to me because this can be a really touchy subject. And I want to be very careful on how I talk about this. But when we're talking about getting free from control, you got to have control in certain areas of your life, but you got to release control from certain areas too. And so the two areas that I would say that you want to release control from, getting free from control, is number one, stop trying to control others. It's not our job to control other people in our lives. That's not what we're here to do. We're not here to tell people that, they've got to do things a certain way. We're not here to tell people that, they suck if they don't do it the way that we teach or whatever, and that's something that I've had to learn the hard way, is that I always thought that when someone told me to do something a specific way, that if I did something differently, even if it was the end result, that it was bad. That's what we're taught in school. When you're going through grade school, you're going through your K through 12 and you're going through college, how many times do you go turn in an assignment and someone turns around and says, oh, you didn't do that exactly the way I told you, even though the end result is the same. You didn't do it the same way I told you, so it's wrong. Get that kind of thinking out of your head. Quit having that programming sitting up there. We talked about that before, right? Get free from the programming in your mind. Get rid of that programming. You don't need to think like that. If the end result is the same, generally the path that it took to get there isn't the problem. But what most people are stuck on is they're stuck on, well, if I take a different path than the person who I'm partnered up with, we'll take business, for example, right? If I take a different path than my mentor, does that mean I'm a terrible person? No, absolutely not. So stop letting others control you in a way that limits your true potential, that limits your mind, because that's hurting you tenfold, right? And so something along the lines of that too is you just also have to be careful if you're gonna go down that road. Is there certain things that are controlled that you don't have any choice, right? Like you have to have a driver's license to drive your car. Don't be like, I'm getting free from control, and then go drive your car without a license. Can't really do that. It's the law. But when it's like, hey, someone says, hey, go make $1,000 a day. Well, if you make $1,000 a day trading stocks or selling cars or, writing books or whatever the case is, however you get there doesn't matter. So don't let someone tell you that your method is wrong. And the other thing too is stop controlling others. Stop trying to make other people do things, stop doing that and forcing people to do that stuff, and stop letting people force you to do that stuff. It's a two-way street. They kind of go together, but like, don't control others. Don't let others control you. Like, that's a big thing right there. Get free from control. But what I will say is that there's two things, that's it. The only two things that we can actually control in our life. Number one is our attitude, and number two is our actions. That's it. So when you're getting free from control, this is where that iffy part comes from, is when you're getting free from control, get free from controlling others and being controlled by others. But when you're talking about control, focus on the things you can control that are up to you personally. And that's your attitude and your actions. That's it. So as far as the last topic goes, I think this one's really cool. It just kind of really brings all this together. And for me, the big thing is all of this that we've talked about in this, free your mind stuff is all along the lines of getting free from limits, right? We talk about limiting beliefs and destructive habits and things like that. We talk about fear. We talk about doubt. We talk about cluttered mind, the way you think about money, all these things. It all comes down to this last point, is get free from limits. Stop limiting yourself because of your mindset. Open up your mind, reflect a little bit inside, give yourself the grace. And I say this all the time, give yourself the grace to understand what's limiting you and make a decision to make it better. That's all you got to do, right? You don't have to do anything crazy. You don't have to get rewired. You don't have to go, get a lobotomy or anything like that. That's not necessary. The thing is just get free from those limits, right? And we're going to go back to a little bit of belief here. I'm a believer. I'm a Christian myself, but the word of God does not have limits. And the thing is that, for those of you that do believe what I believe, when you're reading the Bible, the thing is that there's nothing in there that talks about having limits. It's all about believing in yourself. And it's all about, believing that, one of the good things, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit, and, this can go for any situation, is there's a great pastor by the name of Stephen Furtick. And if you guys don't know him, it's from Elevation Church. I love his videos. I watch him almost every day. And one of the things he talks about is, he talks about the mindset of limiting yourself by thinking, what are people going to think? And, the other way around is like, what should you be thinking? Right. And, it kind of goes into the control part is, at one point, God sent out Moses and said like, hey, go tell the people of what you've learned. And he's like, well, what if they don't believe me? And the whole thing about this, think about that. What if they, right? And this is where people put limits on their dreams. People start thinking small because they're like, what are they going to think? What are they going to do? What are they going to say? And stop thinking about what if they, right? And look at what you have. And so like God turned around to Moses and said, well, what is that in your hand? This was when, God had given Moses the staff and said, here you go tell the people. And he's like, well, what is that? What is that I gave you? And what he's talking about is the power that he gave Moses, right? And so when you think about that, that's really talking about like freeing yourself from that limiting belief of letting others' opinions control your life. Letting others' opinions limiting your mindset and limiting your ability because you're worried about what they're going to think. You're worried about what they're going to say, what they're going to do. And that's a limitation. And so that's what this is all about. This whole thing, these are all limitations that people put on themselves. And this whole 4-part process has been helping you learn that these are all limitations that you can get rid of on your own. So take the limits off your dreams. Stop dreaming and thinking small, right? Stop being little. Stop sitting around and being, oh, well, if I just do this one little thing, then that'll get me that much closer to happiness. Look at the big picture. Look at the big goal. Like dream big and be like, what do you want your life to be like? What do you want to actually accomplish? What is your purpose? And how do you get there, right? Like how do you get to that purpose? And then you make little goals along the way, but stop the small thinking, stop the small dreaming, and expand your mind, get free of those limits, and and imagine what the future could be like if you accomplished everything that you wanted to do in your life. And so that's the last month here, doing this every Wednesday. That's what this has been all about, is get yourself in a position that you're no longer having these things being held over your head. You're no longer having these things, basically being a crutch that you can fall back on and say, oh, well, I doubted myself, and so that's why I failed. No, you failed because you didn't get free from that doubt. And be mindful that failure is good if you're learning from your mistakes. If you fail and then fall back on a limiting belief, that's not learning. You're just falling back and being like, well, it didn't work. Okay. No, push forward, get free from those things, and allow yourself the ability to actually move yourself to the next level. And so what I wanted to do, and I talked about this right away, I want to be able to give you guys something because I think that this is powerful. And, maybe not all of you have seen all of my videos. Maybe you'll go back and watch them. I highly suggest that. But if you don't, what I'd like to do for you guys is I would like to give you basically a worksheet that includes all of the stuff that I went through for all 4 weeks. So this is going to be all 16 points, 4 points from each video. They're going to be in order of what the videos went through as well too. So if you wanted to, what's cool is you could even take the worksheet. You know, I did bullet points on there. I didn't do a lot of real in-depth stuff there, but you could go back and watch my videos for the last 4 weeks and use this worksheet and go take notes on this stuff. Go through and actually, be intentional with it and make notes for yourself. And so I want to give you that opportunity, and I'm going to show you just real quick of what I'm talking about here. And so this is just a quick little snippet of what we've got going on. And so bear with me here. And so this is what I've got here is a quick little worksheet, right? For your mind, a little overview and purpose of what it is, and then just each point and what exactly I talked about at each one of those points and little bullet points. This one, I went into a little disclaimer for addictions because I know that that can be a hot topic for people. And so that's what I want to provide to you. I want to give you that for free. So all you got to do, if you want to get that for free, is just right down below that. Oh, other side, that right there, hashtag free mind. Put that in the comments down below. I will reach out to you personally. I will deliver that to you myself. No chat bots, no automation, no email opt-in, nothing like that. This is my gift to you to give you the opportunity to have that worksheet, to have for you to reference, to be able to reflect on, to have, put it up as an affirmation, put it up on your wall next to your desk, whatever you decide to do with it. But it's free for you to use. And I just want that for you because I think that it's important to have these in the front of your mind every day. I look at these almost every day. I try every day, but sometimes the days get away from you, but that's what I want to do. So hashtag free mind down below, and I will reach out to you personally. I will deliver this to you. I will make sure you get it, and I will make sure it looks good on your end because I don't want you to miss out on this because I think it's important. So that's all we're going to do for today. That wraps up the 4 weeks of the freeing your mind. It's been super cool to be able to do this. And so if anybody wants to have a chat about it, if anybody wants to, learn more about, what it's going to be and, what you can do aside from just this worksheet, right? Like things that you can do outside of this. Maybe there's other ideas. Maybe you've got some reflection on yourself. I'm totally open to have a chat, hop on a call, do whatever. Oh, Joseph, hey, thanks so much, man. That's awesome. Awesome info on mine. I appreciate that. So, but yeah, if anybody wants to chat, definitely let me know. I'm open to it. I just think that it's a really important subject, and I think that everybody should be open to that. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. I don't want to give away what's coming up in the next weeks here. I know when we get into the holidays, we're going to kind of do a couple different things, but I know keep in mind, in the top of your mind here, the Wednesday before Christmas, I'm going to do an open Q&A where I'm just going to get on live. I'm going to hang out for like an hour. We're going to do Q&A type stuff, and I'm going to answer whatever questions people got. 100% transparency. No holding back. I think it'll be super cool. So keep an eye out for that. That'll end up being, I think that's going to be December 24th. Let's see here. Looking at my calendar, December 23rd. So December 23rd, we're going to do a live Q&A where people can come on, ask questions. And I'm going to see if I can get my wife in here on this one too. I know she's always busy with the kids, but maybe we can get both of us on here and, we can do that. But otherwise, it'll be me for sure. So have a great night. I appreciate you guys being here with me, and, stay safe and stay healthy.